fear in the face of your enemies.
This has been a story that I've wanted to tell for a really long time.
Be brave and upright, that God may love thee.
Exploring that fracture of faith when you're pushed too far in the name of God.
Speak the truth even if it leads to your death.
What happens at that point?
Safeguard the helpless and do no wrong.
Hey guys, Chris here and Josh with the Brothers Boyd, and we're sitting down today with Aaron Dowen from Catalyst Comics. He's got an exciting new comic that is on Kickstarter right now called Fall of Night. I've seen some screenshots and I've seen a couple of pages, and I love the artwork and I'm intrigued by it. And so we're going to talk about that book tonight and go ahead and talk to Aaron a little bit. So Aaron, tell us a little bit about Fall of Night.
Yeah, so this is a story that I wanted to tell for quite a while. It is the story about a Templar knight who goes AWOL and makes his way to feudal Japan to try to restart life. Ends up more so drinking away his problems until one day he gets in a bar fight with a samurai's daughter, and they become kind of an unlikely team when they get lambasted by a local Daimyo, which is kind of like a warlord for provinces in feudal Japan. And they see that that person is on the same path as the people that Anthony, the main character, had left from the order. So we see that he's going to end up having to pick up his sword again. Even though it's been a few years, he's a little bit rusty, probably a little more portly, and a little needs to be a little bit more sober. But it's a story that's really about the crisis of faith and doing things in the name of God, and then realizing that those things that are being said that they're done in the name of God are really costing lives and making you do things that are irreparable. And it puts you into a whole crisis of what you can do to hopefully correct your path, while at the same time we get a really violent and engaging story because of the time period.
As a history teacher, Aaron, I love the idea of this, because I know, teaching that a lot of bad things were done in the name of God back then in history, and it was okay because it was done for the righteousness of God, so it's great to see that. Yeah, it's one of the most fun elements to me is I remember whenever it was that I started putting it together, that I had never realized that feudal Japan and the Crusades were at the same time. So once I saw that, I was like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do with this character. And I think we're gonna see that spin out through the course of what will inevitably be either a 5-issue story, or it'll be this single first issue and then a full graphic novel after. We'll kind of see how that plays out. That's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about how long have you been working on this particular story, Aaron?
Yeah, this particular one, elements of it have probably been around since I was a teenager. I grew up in a pastor's home, preacher's kid, still active and in ministry and things like that. So it's kind of always been and I love history, and I love knights and like Arthurian legends and things like that. So all these little elements have always been sticking, and I had a little bit of an idea for a story, like I said, back when I was a teenager, and I finally sat down with it. I want to say it was the year before last that I sat down with it and wrote it all out. And when I say wrote it all out, I know some people that write issue to issue. I don't do that when it's going to be a mini series. I know exactly where the story is going to end, and I kind of work backwards to where it's going to start, and the character development throughout it for each of the main characters. So when I sat down with it a couple of years ago, I kind of put everything into it. And of course, throughout the writing process, it kind of adjusts and changes. And Joe, the artist on it, I had told him about it pretty much right when I scripted it. And I said, you know, the next thing you and I do, if we're going to move on from Tilt together to do something else, I would love to put you on this book because it's such a different style for you too. And so he was ecstatic, and we were both really excited once we greenlit the project with Jessica, who's the producer on it. She was ready to go, and we started working on it together.
That's awesome. Awesome. So I know you say he winds up in feudal Japan.
Mhm.
By the end of the book, does he become kind of a samurai knight? Is he
Um,
samurai knights Templar combined?
So that would be a classic route to do, and I didn't want to do that. I am leaving him kind of a knight because I have Kira is the lady's name, and her father had been a in high regard samurai who had passed away years before, and so she's going to be the more of the samurai vibe, and he'll stay the knight vibe because at his core he still is who he is. That's part of the whole battle between, you know, the crisis of faith and the crisis of just your own self-worth and everything.
Awesome. So we get a samurai knight Templar team up then.
Exactly.
That works.
Yep.
I didn't know if we were going to have some samurai deli stuff going on here.
Yeah, like
Now, another episode of Samurai Delicatessen.
yeah, like I didn't want to lean too far into the it would again, I guess it would have just been too easy to be like, all right, the knight becomes a samurai.
Yeah, and that's the traditional story with most of them. So I like the fact you strayed away from that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the crux of the story is his battle with the things he did during the Crusades, and then realizing even though he's somewhere else, you can't escape people being put under ruthless dictators and ruthless leaders, and the inevitability of someone of his regard who grew up knowing and always wanting to be a knight, so held in high regard, and then realizing he's going to have to pick that sword up again to fight back against this kind of ruthlessness.
That's awesome.
I like it. I like it. I know that myself personally, I met you back before pandemic, actually, in Greenville.
Yeah.
I picked up a couple of your books. I picked up Tilt #1 and
Wow.
Paradigm #1
Years ago.
Yeah.
and love both of those stories. So I'm looking forward to reading this story as well. And
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
don't-
putting it out.
yeah, and I don't think I ever read the horror comic you wrote, but I need to get that one and read it sometime too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send one to you.
Yeah. So tell us how we can go about getting a copy of the Fall of Night right now.
Yeah, so right now Fall of Night is on Kickstarter. As you guys know, anyone that's in the indieverse, we pretty much use Kickstarter as our pre-order system. It kind of gives us a huge gauge of interest in the book, and it lets people get their hands on exclusive content, which I'm leaning into more than I ever have before with this particular campaign. You can, of course, just grab a copy of the book on Kickstarter, but there are also add-ons that I wanted to make pretty exclusive. One of them is a metal print of the cover. There's also a dragon spit sake mug, which is the name of the sake that's in the book. And also the one I just posted right before we recorded was the day one backers. They got a free copy of the ash can version of this, which I think I'm going to blood splatter the cover for everybody. But then now you can order it. There's only 30 available. So that'll be an add-on. And the two other ones that I just mentioned are also limited availability. The metal print only has 20, and then the mug has 30. So I tried to make some exclusive stuff just for Kickstarter that won't be utilized outside of here. So yeah, you can get on Kickstarter for now, and then most of the other books you can find all over the web. Global Comics for digital stuff, and then Catalyst Comic Studio to order them.
And I
Yeah,
saw
absolutely.
that mug, and it looks beautiful. The dragon.
Thank you. I got to mess with my
Yeah, I
graphic
think I
design
saw
skills.
in one of the packages too, there was like a small samurai sword in there as well.
Yeah, I wanted to do something. So with Kickstarter, that's the other thing, is I make packages according to the fun things that I would also like to own. So I saw these little samurai keychains, and I was like, oh, let me do something with that. And so samurai keychains are a thing, and I'm going to figure out a way to sign the blade on one side so that people can have it autographed as well.
Nice.
I like that. I like that. So I know the Kickstarter has started. What is the date that we're running through on the Kickstarter?
Gosh, I know the start date and I know it's 30 days, but I don't remember what the end date is.
Okay,
But it'll
okay.
be early February. So it'll be, I'm guessing February 7th.
Okay.
So there's still plenty of time to get out there and order it and get some of these cool add-ons as well. Because I really like the Dragon Spit sake mug.
Yeah.
I could drink my coffee out of that every morning.
We don't need more mugs in our home, but I made that one and now I'm like, oh, well, I guess I have to get one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be honest, with teaching feudal Japan, I'd love to get one and set it on my desk at school. It's just pretty.
Yeah, I mean
Definitely.
I had a lot of fun kind of creating the logo. Yeah, for people that don't know me, I've been a graphic designer for like 17 years now or something. I think I've been saying 15 for a few years, so I'm gonna start saying 17. But yeah, so I made, it was actually two forms. First I made the dragon and I just had that laying around, and then I made the beneath that there's the Japanese lettering and that spells out dragon spit. So
Nice. Nice. That's
Very
pretty
cool.
cool. So is this I know you've got Tilt, you've got, what was the other one, Chris? Pandemonium or Paradigm, and the horror one. Is this your fourth book or do you have more that have been published?
there's more. Yeah, so there's Tilt 1 through 4, and there's also the trade version of that now. There's Paradigm number 1, and then there's Welcome to Everville. So Welcome to Everville is kind of to be treated as a 0 issue. The actual storyline will start with the we're still debating if we're going to do a full graphic novel or if we're going to do individual issues. And then there's another story called One Last Job, and there's 2 of those so far, and we plan on doing the finale in the summer, and just putting them all together as a full color graphic novel, and that one's more spy thriller.
Awesome. Yeah, get out there and check these guys out. I know I read the first Tilt that Chris had. I'm pretty sure I read Paradigm. It's been a while, but those were great reads. So I know
Thank you.
I'd love to get hold of the rest of them and finish out the story.
Yep, Tilt will trade now, all 4 issues, and then there's special content in the back as well. I write prose stuff on top of this, so there's some flash fictions with Exquisite and Cindy, which are 2 other characters in that story. And then Jimmy, there's another one as well. Jimmy is the one in the first issue that he drops off the building, that poops himself when he catches him before he hits the ground.
Hey Josh, I've got a copy of the Tilt graphic novel coming my way. I
Yep.
ordered it through the Kickstarter.
Awesome.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you this question, Aaron.
Yeah.
Any plans in the future for Catalyst Comic to hit some conventions and
Yeah.
bring some of your stuff with you?
Yeah, so I guess when you met me, it was with Matt, and Matt's very recently. So we both went through a lot of life stuff at the same time in different directions. I went through divorce and custody battles and all that stuff. So I kind of stepped back from like going out to conventions because if you guys have never been through anything like that, the finance part of it is an absolute insanity.
I feel you, man. Right there with you.
Yeah, so it was a mess. Some good things came out of it though. But I'm looking forward to, in fact, I have an application for a huge it's an arts festival that happens up in Pennsylvania. I split my life between North Carolina and Pennsylvania, but this particular one has about 10,000 people that come through on the weekends, and I'm looking forward to that this summer. And then the North Carolina ones, I need to start getting my name back into the circuits because it's been a couple of years since we've been. In fact, I think the last one I went to was Greenville a couple of years ago. I think it was the same. It may have been 2020.
Yeah.
One.
I think it was the one we met at. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I know I went to it twice. The second time they let us host a panel on creating comics. The first time we were still babies and all of it.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, I know there's a bunch of them in North Carolina, so we hope we'll run across you.
Yep.
Really soon in the future. I'll bring that Tilt and go ahead and get you to sign it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you guys aren't terribly far. Where are you guys?
We're in Newbern. North.
Okay. I was in Newbern like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
The little town of Newbern.
Yes.
Yeah, we're here, but we spread out. I think our next show is in where's it, Goldsboro, Josh?
Yep, Goldsboro in February.
Okay.
Yeah, Goldsboro. So
That sounds
So-
cool. Yeah, I'm sure we'll end up syncing up because it's either here or it's either Pennsylvania or North Carolina that I'm going to be doing shows. So it's just a matter
Nice.
of kind of getting it back out there.
Yep, awesome.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm excited for Fall of Night. I'm going to get on the Kickstarter and go ahead and order my copy. I'm going to try to figure out which one of those tiers I want and some of those add-ons as well, so I can go ahead and get those. And everybody else, go out and get on Kickstarter and look up Fall of Night, Catalyst Comics by Aaron Dowen. Go check it out. I'm sure you saw some of the great photos in this video. We're going to have those up. So looks great. Story looks good. Artwork looks great. And we're super excited for it.
Yes, and check out Catalyst Comics Facebook. Is there an
Yep.
Instagram as well?
Deleted the Instagram at the beginning of the year.
All right, so no Instagram, but a Facebook. I was
Yep.
on it earlier. You can scroll through if you're having trouble finding the Kickstarter. It's right there on the Facebook page, so you can get right to it.
Awesome.
So,
All right. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you soon.
yes, thank you guys.
All right. And 3. Well, we were good to go.
Yeah.